Welcome back to Nobody Listens to Liz. I'm Leah Frederick.
I'm Sierra Peluso.
I'm Liz Eric Dykes.
So today we're talking about the Bermuda Triangle of real estate.
Tropical.
I wish it was tropical. It would stop snowing outside and we were on a beach. Let's go.
I'm ready to do it.
I think your idea of finding a conference where it's warm.
We should just record this.
Maybe there's something in Hawaii. Oh, we should do Nobody Listens to Liz in Hawaii.
Oh God, that'd be lovely. That's on my
Get some
bucket list.
coconuts.
Some coconuts.
We were supposed to go for my wedding, remember?
Yeah.
We're still owed a trip.
We are.
Yeah, I wasn't part of that, but
Well, you are now.
we are now.
Travis and I have been married like 5 times. We can do it again.
It
Five
is. It
times.
actually
Yes.
is. It's a great story. In fact, COVID was our main thing. So yeah. So they celebrate their anniversary
All month long.
All month long. Yeah.
Works
So
out
COVID.
great.
Yeah.
Works out great. For
Anyway, we digress. Today we're talking about the real estate Bermuda Triangle. What happens when you have to
scary.
scary? You have to sell so you can buy. How do you do that? How do you navigate that kind of thing? So,
You don't do it alone.
no, you definitely don't know.
Get a realtor advisor.
Yes. Well, and I will tell you that even as a realtor, this is the scenario that I'm looking at personally. Like, and it causes me great anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Great anxiety. I mean, you guys have navigated it before, but it's
No,
very much.
I haven't.
No, you haven't?
I have always just bought.
Really? You've already.
Then I sell.
And then you sell.
Because I am confident in what I know I can sell my house for.
Okay.
But I understand the average person is, might not be like that.
Okay, I'm average, and that's exactly how I feel.
I think you
She
are
just hit
an
my boob.
above average human, just so we're clear. Leah's above average. Leah might be a super
average.
No, it is very much a chicken and egg scenario.
Yeah,
Do you
it
think
is.
so?
And it's still stressful.
Oh, it's
no matter
very
what.
stressful.
Yes.
Very
I don't
stressful.
think I've actually bought before I've sold. But I've sold and then bought, and I've helped a lot of people.
And then I did actually,
before selling.
one time I lived in a camper,
Really?
and then while we were looking.
A lot of people do that.
Some kind of
Especially,
temporary
yeah,
housing.
especially like right before the 2020 market, there was like 3 or 4 years there that a lot of people, that was super popular. You'd go buy a camper because they were cheap,
Yeah.
low interest, go buy a camper, sell your house, live in it
Yes.
until you decided.
I will say, obviously, ideally, you would not have to move and pack and unpack and all that stuff more than once. So, but yeah, it is a real, why it's so hard, because you're worried you're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's the chicken and the egg. Like,
It
which
is.
one do you do first? How do you do it? How do you navigate? What is the right timing?
Yeah. So carrying 2 mortgages, moving twice. I mean, the whole idea of moving twice,
Yeah.
I think is what repels me most. Like, oh my God, moving.
Well,
once
and
is
even
already
if you
out.
Yeah.
had to move into a rental, a camper,
Right, a short-term kind of
with
thing.
family, whatever, you don't have to take everything you own, right? You're still going to box everything up.
Right.
You're still just going to take with
That's
you
what
what
we
you
did.
have to have.
Yeah.
And then you'll actually move. So you're not really
it wasn't all
moving
of our
twice.
stuff. It was camper stuff.
Camper, I mean,
you
your
know.
toothbrush and your bag of you
Yep.
change underwear. So,
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, one of the things that it's not just one transaction you're looking at; it's 2 transactions. And why? I mean, you're already juggling. There's so much to juggle in one transaction.
Yeah.
But you're throwing that on another one, kind of thing. So.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that you can do to ease that, especially with a good realtor and a good lender. The lender is very
Yes.
important. Now, if you have cash to do it and you can go buy and then we can sell your house, no problem, no questions
Fabulous.
asked.
Yeah.
You're in a great boat, especially if you have a ton of equity, right? If you're part of the silver tsunami, which I learned that term
She's
today.
so excited. She learned this term today.
I like that term. I think it's fun.
I'm glad we could teach you.
Yeah, you taught me something today. But there's a few other things you could do. The leaning on the lender is really good too, because it might be the fact that they have a certain loan program,
Like a bridge loan.
like a bridge loan or something similar to that,
Yeah.
where you are buying before you sell yours, but you've already got an appraisal on your house. You know what we're going to sell it for. We have a game plan to get yours listed, and then we can also build in the time for you to buy the other one and get settled there. That's what your agent can do for you. They can actually build in that time. So let's say it's Leah, and we're
Yeah.
going to sell Leah's current house, but she needs to buy this other one.
Yeah.
But she needs to sell before she buys.
And they're in 2 different markets. too.
Yes. So Leah's going to go to, let's say, Lexington,
How about Louisville?
go to Louisville, and purchase a house.
Ohio.
Yeah.
left there, been there, done that.
but she still has her current home, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're listing the house that you are selling, we want to build in some time.
Yeah.
So we are going to put those expectations right up front, right on the MLS to every agent and buyer
Mm-hmm.
that the seller needs 45 days post-closing to move,
Yeah.
30 days post-closing to move. Your insurance agent now, I feel like, is the most important person in the decision of how much time you can take.
Okay.
Because that's the biggest issue is your insurance will only cover you and your items
Yeah, like-
for so long.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's up to the agent. They might say you can have 60 days. You can have 30 days because first of all, you will no longer own the house once you close.
Right.
So they're probably not going
you're
to cover
renting
you
possibly.
2 months out. They might cover your contents, but they might not cover the house. The buyers should have an insurance policy on that house, but do they have the correct policy if
Yeah.
something drastic happened?
Right.
And is it going to cover the house? Like, we want to make sure you don't end up in a lawsuit. So we want to know what that insurance agent says about how long you can stay post-closing. So we're going to list your house for sale, and we're going to tell everybody that looks at it, look, I am buying another house, but I need time to transition. Got to have 30 days. Okay, so that when they're making their offers and stuff, they know that up front, and it's not a shock. It's not a negotiation tool.
Right.
It's we told you we need this.
This is a fact.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is a fact, Jack.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So that's something that you could do that's really helpful, kind of eases you into it, gives you a little bit of time, especially if you can go into that other market and find the house that you want.
Right.
We can get a game plan together. We can always let that seller know, hey, I'm selling another house. It is or is it not contingent upon you selling your first house?
Well, and that becomes part of the negotiation, right? Sometimes. 'Cause
Well,
if
that's
you're
going to be up to the
remove-
lender.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can buy without a contingency to sell, you're going to have a much stronger offer.
Yes.
However, as the buyer and seller, you want to be careful that you really listen to your agent and know that you can sell the house.
Yeah.
Because if you go buy one and then you want double what your house is actually worth,
You're
if
pricing
it's
it wrong.
in terrible shape, if you are unrealistic about your expectations, you could end up with 2 house payments.
Yeah.
But that's how you're going to end up with 2 house payments for very long instead of, being able to transition through the process. We just have to be realistic and kind of know what we're doing. I've actually got sellers that are going through that right now. They bought a house a few months ago. We're trying to sell the house that they have. Unfortunately, it was bad timing. When we listed their house is when the market just stopped.
Yeah.
It's no fault of theirs, no fault of the house, nothing I did. The market just quit. It's picked up since then, and we're working on selling it now. What they're ending up doing is doing a pre-inspection.
That's smart.
So
That's what I
that's
was
going to
gonna
help. We're
say.
going to do a pre-inspection. We're going to make sure the house is market ready, and then we're going to go back to the market with it like
Yeah.
that.
I was going to say, I would definitely, if you're going to buy without selling 1st, but you really kind of need to sell, is I would do an inspection on the house that you're going to sell before you buy something.
Yes.
And make sure there's nothing leaking, there's no hidden costs, because that's the last thing you want to come up.
Well, and yeah, make sure your present house, your present property, is ready for market.
Yeah.
Right.
I
and as
mean,
ready as you can be.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know with our house in Louisville that it needs 2 major things still, and it's like, okay, we have to fix these things, and then we can technically start working with our lender and then go shopping and stuff like that. So,
Yes.
but again, knowing your market, having a trusted advisor to help you with that.
And there's good things that you can package with it, right? Like if you bought title insurance when you bought your house, let your agent know. Give them what information they need off of that so that the next buyer can get their title insurance cheaper, at least in Ohio and Kentucky. If you have purchased title insurance, that buyer can get it a little bit cheaper. That's
Really?
a perk to the
I
buyer.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, learn something new
If-
every day.
Yeah, if you get a pre-inspection, they know that they might still want their own inspection, but you've
course.
had it done. If you've had a survey, that would help because you can say, I've already had the property surveyed. Here
Here it
you
is.
are.
Exactly.
Ready to
Surveys,
go.
you can't get done in a week.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's a big one.
Usually
Yeah.
5 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I would be talking to your agent and see anything and everything that you can do to make it the prettiest package so that when that sucker goes on the market,
It's
it
ready to
goes.
go.
Yeah.
It's ready
There's
to go.
no hidden things that pop up.
Yeah.
So I like those. So yeah, you have your sell first then buy, of course, having the clean finances, the strong buying power, and no double mortgage risk. So of course the cons of that are temporary housing. Where do we go? Hey mom, can we live with you? With the cellar dwellers. again.
Cellar dwellers.
Cellar dwellers.
Yeah.
And the possibility of moving twice. Now, buying with a sale contingency, depending on the market, certainly in
Yeah.
221.
There's some markets that
Yeah.
are, even though we're leveraging out a little bit, there is still some markets that's going to be extremely tough to get an accepted contract with.
Exactly.
Yeah, because other buyers can buy it without having to sell a
Yes.
house.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have the exact same offer. It could even be a little bit more money-wise,
Right.
a little bit better terms, but they have to wait for you to sell your house. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big contingency. So you want to make your offer as attractive as you can to try to combat that. But some markets are just pretty unforgiving because there's so many people, they don't have to wait for you.
Yeah.
How do you pose an offer with that sale contingency on there that is attractive to that seller? Like, how much time do you give on that sale contingency? How do you make their offer more attractive?
Well, I personally would avoid trying to accept one unless the house was literally, we'll put this on the market as soon
By this date.
as this is accepted, the next business day.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
not
that.
waiting if I have to wait 7 days for you to get your house ready, you're not ready to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
You're
should
not
have
serious
been
enough.
doing that.
Right.
That's 7 days off the market that we're just sitting, waiting for you to get your house ready.
What if you were
You know.
representing this buyer / seller
Mm-hmm.
who, they have their house ready to market, but how are you going to read how much time you're going to give till such and such a date? How do you pick the closing date? How do you pick those things? Because it's necessary to complete that contract. I mean, what are the elements that you add into the contract to make it
Sure.
more
Yeah.
attractive?
I like what Sierra's saying about, like, I want to make sure that they are going to put their house on the market. If you're on the seller's side of it for whoever's purchasing we'll have it on the market within 72 hours, at least. Or it should already be on there if they're really
Right.
serious,
Yeah.
Within 72 hours, that thing needs to be listed. But as far as how long they have, that's really what you're looking for. Is you can't make the sellers wait too long. So maybe you
Right.
write the contract for 45 days and hope for the best. Maybe you go ahead and list your house and see what kind of interest you're going to have. Because if you've been listed for 1 or 2 days and you have a ton of showings, then we can be pretty confident we can write that thing for 40 days and we'll be okay. If you list your house and you have 0 phone calls in the first 2 days, we probably need to ask them for 60 days or so,
Yeah.
So I think that having it listed will give you a little bit of more information. If you can't do that, then you're going to have to lean on your agent to say, how fast do you really think this is going to be able to sell in this market? How much time do we have to build in? And then you're going to have to hope that that seller is okay with it.
I would
Go ahead.
also add the house that they're wanting to buy.
Mm-hmm.
What's the timeline look like for those sellers?
Right.
Yes.
If they
Find out what
have
their
to be out
motivation is.
within 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get it accepted if you write it for 60.
Yeah.
However, if
if
their
they-
goal is top dollar and time doesn't matter,
Yeah,
I mean,
finding out what
it's-
their motivation is.
Yes, finding out what their motivation is. And if you write it for 60 days and then that's what the sellers agreed to, so they think they have 2 months left in their house. Well, then you put your house on the market, you get an accepted contract, but the buyers want to buy your house within 30 days.
Yeah.
It's how flexible if you go back to those sellers, are they going to be flexible or not?
Mm-hmm.
So I think finding out
Somebody
where
may have to
they're
come up
going.
with temporary housing. You just don't want it to be
Well,
yourself.
well, and I think the biggest thing is setting those expectations.
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
listing a house and you have to buy first, then you need post occupancy and you need to put that up front.
Yeah.
If you're selling a house and time doesn't matter, let buyers know that. I would rather
Yeah.
have top dollar than I would time. Send me your offers. If
Right.
I have to wait 3 months for you, but you're going to give me $10,000 over list price, great.
I'll wait.
I'll take
Right.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Still,
I mean,
yeah.
how much do you want that house? If you have the perfect offer for them, which isn't the same for everybody, doesn't mean that it's price. It could be all kinds
Right.
of terms. If you have the perfect offer for them, maybe they'll wait for you. You know, communication is going to be the biggest
Yeah.
Yes.
part of that Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda
Yes.
Triangle. What about the earnest money or good faith money kind of thing? And it's not necessary in Kentucky, certainly, or Ohio, correct? And, you know,
Common though.
it is very common. Not to put anything down, would you advise your buyer/sellers to go ahead and put some skin in the game, so to speak?
Yeah, you might make that a higher amount than you normally would for earnest money. You might make hard earnest money, you know.
Yeah, give it to
that's-
the sellers if you can't sell your house. Tell
Yeah.
them how serious you are about, I'm going to sell my house because I want to buy your house.
I'm serious.
You know?
Your house is the one for me. I want it. I'm going to put X amount of dollars down, and I'm going to write you a check.
Right.
If I can't close in 30 days or whatever, first of all, it's yours.
Yeah.
If
So no skin,
or we're just going to write you a check. If you accept our offer within 36 hours, I'm going to give you a check for X amount of dollars, and you keep it.
Yeah.
If I can buy it, I will. I'm going to do everything I can to sell my house.
And that goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. If you have your house ready to go, you have it pre-inspected, you know you're hoping nothing's going to come up, it's easier.
We're not
for you to
hoping you're
rent that.
educated that nothing, like there
Yes.
shouldn't
Right.
be
There
any.
shouldn't be any surprises. Yeah.
So
You know
then
what you're doing.
You would feel a lot more comfortable offering that.
Yeah.
Sweeten the pot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know when we sold Newport, you know, she ended up having to get a different loan and all changing. So
Yeah, the
it
lady
was always-
extended a few times, and
few
it's like,
times,
okay,
it's like, okay,
well,
write a check.
Then she
Stay
needs
in
to give us
contract.
hard earnest money. It
Yep.
goes straight to the seller. If she ends up never closing, the seller already has the money. They do not get that back.
Yeah.
That's what hard earnest money is. And if she does close, great. Not
Fabulous.
only did they sell their house, but they got all that earnest money.
Exactly.
She
Yep.
was serious, and she did end up buying. It
She
took
ended
her a while.
Yeah.
But she
6
ended
months.
up she ended up going through with
She
it,
did.
and
Yeah.
she was happy to pay to make sure that she got her house.
Exactly.
And I've seen it remodeled now, and it
Yeah,
looks
it
great.
actually and put on the
That's
market.
great.
I don't know
Yes.
if she sold it again, but she sold it for quite a bit more, which is great.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what about the bridge strategy? You got HELOCs, bridge loans, cash backed programs, things like that.
Sure. There's no reason not to call your lender and say, hey, and use a local lender, somebody you can
Yes.
call up and
Yeah.
trust and talk to and say, what are my options? You know, and you can talk to a few different lenders. What are my options with this? I would like to buy before I sell, or, whatever I need. This is what I think I need to do. Can you tell me how to do it? Because there's also loan officers out there that have programs where if they do the loan on your house that you're going to purchase, they appraise your old one. If it doesn't sell in a certain amount of time, they'll buy your house and they'll sell it themselves. They're guaranteeing that. Now, that's a very highly specific loan program.
Right. A lot of moving parts there, too.
However, if you have a lender that'll do cool stuff like that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your agent probably has good information on, different programs.
If you qualify for a bridge loan or any kind of program like that, I definitely think it gives you a stronger offer.
Yes.
And so, if that's what it takes in order for you to move,
That's what it
what it
takes.
Yeah.
And then we have sell with post-closing, occupancy, the rent back, you sell, get cash and stay in the home temporarily. Of course, the cons must be negotiated. That's why you use your agent for that. And requires a seller-friendly situation. And of course, I'm like, why can't they all be seller-friendly? Why can't they all be friendly? We all want to get to the closing table. It should be a win-win.
Yeah.
So in essence, the takeaway is there's no right answer. There's just a right answer for your risk tolerance. And I think that is inevitably, you are taking a risk, and
oh yeah.
that's the big thing. And I know, like with Mark and myself, he's not exactly the most risk tolerant. He's a little risk aversive.
But we can negate a lot of that risk by
Yes.
getting a
Getting those things,
pre-inspection,
yes,
making
in
sure we
place.
have
Yep.
all the information that we need, making sure that you've got your pictures, you've got your MLS ready, you've got everything ready to list that house
Yep.
that minute, know?
Yep.
Yep.
So biggest mistakes, move up buyers is what we're calling ourselves. Move up buyers make. Shopping aggressively before their house is ready
Yeah.
for
I don't know
market.
anybody like
I
that.
don't know anybody like that. I don't know anybody who gets alerts from that already. And then I just ignore them. I tell myself that I'm just keeping an eye on the market, actually.
Yeah, just seeing what's
I'm
out
just
there.
seeing
Just
what's
lying
out
to
there.
myself.
I'm lying to myself. And I will say, I did see one about a week and a half ago. I'm like, damn, that's one that checks most of the boxes. And it
Yeah.
was underpriced. And I was like,
Time to get ready.
yeah, and I just told him, I said, this one will be gone in 24 hours, and it was. It was under contract in 24 hours. And I was like, all right. But yes, overpricing your house because we need X amount to do this.
Yeah.
We need that.
I want to get the most for my house.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't get into that
Right
other
now,
house
your
unless
your
we get
timeline.
this
You're
amount.
not price. It's timeline.
Yes.
Yeah, timeline.
So-
It has to be more time specific rather than money specific.
Right.
So yeah. Of course, not talking to a lender about options.
And talking to a few different lenders. Like,
Yes.
it depends on the programs highly for bridge loans and for specific loan programs. If you want to do
Yes.
something odd that is not like fit in the
A cut and
box.
dry mortgage.
Yes.
Talk,
You
like,
need to talk
shop
to a few
around.
lenders, talk to your agent, and see who they suggest is best in those areas.
those
because we
specifics.
all have our strong suits, especially like realtors.
Yeah.
Lenders do too, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure you're talking to the right lenders that have the right type of programs for you.
That's a good suggestion. So, this is my favorite, and I will say I'm kind of woo-woo like this, assuming it'll line up magically. Yeah. I mean,
Well, you're going to do all the right calculated
do right
things to
You're
do that.
You're gonna plan in advance and do all those things and stuff. But yeah, well, we all know I saw my house, walked in, there we go, bought it. So, yeah, I love the waiting to declutter until after they find the house. No, pack the stuff up, get it out there. So you can't. I love the sassy truth. You can't be a messy seller and a competitive buyer at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
right.
true.
Right?
And please, if you're going to sell your house, you want it to be in the condition that you want the house you're purchasing to look like. You don't want it
Yes.
to smell bad, look bad, be messy,
Yep.
Not
need
clean.
unkempt, you know?
Kept. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so here is our synchronized transaction game plan step by step. Number 1, get your numbers first. And this is where you're talking to your lender too. Your current home equity estimate. What are the closing costs plus net proceeds? What's the down payment you need or cash to close needs? And your payment comfort range for the new home kind of thing. All right, so that's step 1. Step 2, pick your strategy before you fall in love with that new home.
Yeah.
Are you going to sell first? Are you going to do the contingent? Are you going to do the bridge? Are you going to do the rent back? All right.
And your lender and realtor can help you with that.
That's
Lay
right.
on them.
Because you don't have time to.
Can't guess.
Fuss about.
You don't have time to think about that when you find the house and you're ready to make an offer.
That's
you
right.
don't have
You
time
need
to
to know what you're
educate
doing.
yourself
Jump
on
right
all these different options that you have.
That's right. So decide what you'll do when you find the perfect house tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. 3, prep your home. As Liz said, like it's about to go on HGTV.
In the prettiest package with a tied up ribbon that you can. All your documents, forms ready to go, pictures, house is clean,
All the
prepped, ready to
receipts
go.
of all the things.
Yep.
Have
Warranties.
all the warranties. Have a binder on your house. If you don't have a binder on your house or a file on your house, this is the time to do it because it will make selling your home so much easier.
Oh, you know what? We can give them that.
That's a good idea, actually.
Why don't we give them the house binder?
The house binder. So
Can I get you
DM,
started?
Can I get that?
Yeah.
DM us house. How's that?
And
That's what it is.
we'll help you get started with your house binder.
The house binder. All right. Then line up your timeline. All right? So ideally, your listing date, your target contract date, the closing window, what's desired there, and then your backup housing plan. Have a
plan.
Have a plan. A, B, C, and maybe even D.
And you definitely want to lean on your lender and your your realtor and your insurance agent for that one. And it's funny you mentioned that you need to have a plan D because I've had people that sold their house, bought a house, had to be out of their house on a certain date, so they were moving into the one they purchased, only to find when they got to the house, the people, including their kids, grandkids, and animals, were all still there.
Oh.
And they had already bought it?
Mm-hmm. They already closed. It was occupancy day. They were supposed to switch, and they said whatever those people bought in another state wasn't ready, so they needed a few more days.
But they didn't
And they
communicate
never
that
said that to
Didn't tell
anyone.
anyone, including me.
But they, and you know what? It's
knock, knock, knock.
It's wild
this has
that
happened
people
to me
think
twice.
that When
Oh my
people
gosh.
need to understand, when you sell your house,
It's a legal contract.
you are even if you have occupancy for a couple days
You're
after,
You're not the owner.
you are still not the owner of that house anymore. That ended when you signed the papers. So
Yes.
even
And
if
got the
you
check.
legally were allowed to stay there a couple days or 30 days,
You don't own the home.
It ain't your
are
house.
not the owner.
Yeah.
You're a renter
Yeah.
at that point. You don't own
I'm
it.
sorry, I can just imagine their expression.
So if anybody needs to know, there is a dog-friendly hotel here in Mount Orab, Ohio.
Good to know.
In case you ever need to put clients up for a few days, or 2 sets of clients up. Within the same 2 years, I think.
Well, I don't
it's
know
funny
if
because
you
they'll know
guys
who they
do
are.
in Kentucky, but in Ohio, we actually have a post-occupancy addendum, and it states that they will be out a certain day or certain time. And if they are not out that certain day or time, they will pay a set price per diem until they're out.
But this is a
So-
new thing.
Yeah.
It's been around a while.
Yeah, not this long. Unfortunately.
I don't
Maybe
know
it's
when
because of me.
this But so it's
You would've
already
got those
set
signatures in
upon
blood.
like you. Hopefully, your realtor has already had that conversation with you. That hey, if you're not out after these 5 days that they're giving
Yeah.
you, you're going to be paying $150 every single day that you're late.
Yeah.
So you need to
It's
figure
going
it
great
out.
for an Airbnb, that's for sure. So yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it should be what the new owners are going to be put out by being late.
Right.
Whatever they have to pay at a
Or
hotel,
more,
it should
yeah.
be or more.
I just thought of another
Yeah.
one that happened.
Really?
Yep, the people were getting a divorce. It actually closed here in this room in Mount Orab, and the couple was getting a divorce. They signed all the paperwork, and apparently at the closing table, we asked for the keys to the house, and the wife said, "I'm not giving you my keys. I have 30 days to move out of my house." And we said, "Ma'am, it's in the contract that you signed. You know, this is it's today."
She had a different agent.
She had a different agent.
Oh, jeez.
Apparently, communication wasn't strong, or she just didn't listen. But the problem was, she signed the contract, so the agent hopefully had gone over it with her. But in their divorce decree, it said if they sold the house, that she got so much time to move. So she just, I guess,
She
assumed that that was in the contract.
I wonder
the
if
agent probably had
Would
no
that be
idea.
Trump?
That's an
And that would
interesting-
trump,
yeah,
too.
that's an interesting point though, because if that's a situation that you're selling a house, that's a death, divorce, that's a popular reason to sell.
Yeah.
If you have some type of agreement like that in your divorce decree,
Your agent
Yeah.
needs to know.
tell your agent that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That has to be in the sales contract then.
has
Yeah,
to be
and it
reflected.
wasn't, and
Yeah.
nobody knew. The agent probably had no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
Being
maddest
homeless
seller
for-
I've ever seen at a closing in my entire
yeah.
career.
I'd be
Oh, I
pretty
bet.
hot too.
Yeah.
I got to admit. Yeah.
It was super
Yeah.
fun. Great time.
Wait a minute, I got 30 days. What?
Yeah.
What?
And it was my buyer's first house, her and her son, and they were so excited
Yeah.
to go move in.
Yeah.
So
Guess what?
it was
But
it
we
was a
already
time.
put in our notice for we got to be on our
Apartment.
rental. Exactly.
Well, and that's a costly
Dominoes.
mistake for somebody.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, someone's going to have to pay to not be homeless somewhere.
And now I'm curious of like how they negotiated that. So,
Yeah.
but other thing there is number 5, write offers that match your reality. Cleanest terms if possible, of course.
And listen to your agent when they tell you this has to be clean and this is why they are
Yes.
trying to help you. They're not trying to spend your money. They're trying to
Yeah.
set you up for success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So here I love this kind of little thing. Real talk. How to choose the best option. What works for you best? Okay. How much risk am I truly able to handle and tolerate financially?
Yeah.
How emotionally stable am I? Be honest. Be honest.
While you're at a high risk, high stress level.
Yeah. People react more. They don't
yeah.
think. They
Yes.
react when they're stressed
They're
that way.
stressed out.
Yes. Can I move twice without losing my mind? It may take medication, but yes, you can do it. And then
Different forms of medication.
different forms, yes. Would I rather win the next home or avoid disruption? So again, you need to, consider what is the priority here,
Why are you moving?
Why are you moving?
What are your priorities and how are you best set up for success?
Exactly.
If you talk to your lender and your agent, they should
Your
really be
insurance.
able to help you with that.
Yep. So again, it's not impossible buying and selling.
No.
It's not at all impossible. You got a good, you create a team to work with you, to help
You're
support
not
you.
alone.
You are not alone.
Well, you don't want to do it alone. I don't recommend you do it alone.
Don't do it alone. It's just a plan. And you don't pick the plan, the market will pick one for you. That's an interesting
Be
idea.
prepared.
Be prepared. So yes. So be sure to DM us, House, for that little helpful guide. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns, or if you would like to just commiserate about my stressful situation right now, please drop us a line.
If you have a great story about
Gosh, yes.
buying before you sell or any horror stories, just share
Or
them just to give
sellers
Leah
staying
confidence.
behind.
Just give them to me. I mean, it's funny actually. Right now, I'm in the middle of, I call it the domino deal, because the buyers are selling theirs, and then they actually found a place before they put theirs on the market. So we did. We wrote the contingency. It needs to be in the market by such and such a date. Within, it was actually less than a week. And I was like, we have to hit this deadline or the deal's off, kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did. And then we found a buyer for their place, and knock on wood, it's going very smoothly.
I think that's the biggest thing in all real estate transactions is being upfront
Yes.
about expectations and communicating. Like, if you have expectations or there's something you need out of a deal, let your agent know and make sure that they're forthcoming with it,
Absolutely.
Like, for agents, I call every agent before I put in an offer and say, what is most important to the sellers? Is there anything that they need? Because it might be as small as, I know they're having a hard time moving their pool table. They could probably use a week after closing to be able to do that. Great, we can do that.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have to move into a rental house because they're going to build. Great. Do they need
More
14
time.
days,
Yeah.
30 days, 45 days? What do they need? Because if you don't ask, you don't know.
So find out what their game plan is, what their priorities are, and go from there. So
Yeah.
well, hopefully this has been helpful, and
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know, and hopefully we'll see you next time on another episode of Nobody Listens to Liz. Hey, and by the way, let us know what you'd like us to talk about. We're always open to ideas.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Nobody's listening. I don't know what you
I don't
ask.
worry about that. So I'm Leah Frederick.
I'm Sierra Peluso.
I'm Liz Eric Dykes.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.